let me get my pre-workout. What's going on, y'all? Total body workout time. Let's get the pre-workout. So, what? Yeah. So I got my little powdered sticks here. Again, you could literally just like drop this on the tongue. I like drinking it throughout the workout. We're going to simultaneously be getting a total body workout in. I'm in between coaching calls. I started this late, so this is like a ultra lean, ultra fast workout. I'm also, again, probably going to modify a couple things for the home space and bands. I pull up the workout. I'll get into it again. Feel free to drop questions in the comments per usual. And if you didn't catch it yesterday live, I did a one-word workshop on a word that I use every single year and how it ultimately dictates how I approach the year. My word for 2026 is devotion. If you want support in finding a word for yourself that impacts how you approach the year, check that out. I highly recommend it. It's a worthwhile, to say the least, endeavor to explore. And with that being said, yeah, this one's going to take exactly 39 minutes. So let's start. And that's assuming I'm not doing my normal warm-up, which I'm going to just kind of modify here a little bit. And I'm going to do a shadow boxing warm-up with the bands. I got to get all my equipment. This is where I can't wait to have. We just bought a shed. I'm going to have all my workout stuff live in the shed, so I don't have to constantly keep going back and forth with all my training gear. Because that's the one thing that having a home gym, if you don't have a dedicated space, it's frustrating. But the cool thing about the bands is they don't take up a lot of space. It's just getting them set up and getting going. So let's get our workout going, and we're just going to get off to the races. I already feel like I'm rushing here a little bit because normally I like to have a full hour, and I have 35 minutes to warm up and get worked out, get changed, and get into my next coaching call segment. So this is just real-time example. Let me just pull up my camera here so we can pull this on. Listen, I don't want to hear you don't have the time. I'm tight on time as well. We all have variables we're playing with. This is just part of it. Again, if you have questions, let me know in the chat and the comments. I'm going to just tweak this a little bit so you guys can kind of see. We got our beautiful flowers here. The goal today is, again, just getting a 3-minute warm-up with the shadow boxing and the bands, getting my heart rate up to about 130 to 150. And the cool thing is this is a total body workout. So I'm going to be getting everything going here. Let's see. And I'm going to have to translate that. Thank you for the comment, but I don't even know what language that is, but I'm going to have to translate it. No entiendo, no lo que. No sé. Parli italiano? Parli italiano, sì. Non capisci? And again, the goal here is just getting that body temperature up, moving our tissue, priming everything up. So I got about another minute, so I'm going to start adding in my hip checks, getting the hip flexors fired up, working on my adductors, working on my calves. And in the rep sets, I'm going to be putting everything in my planner as well. I got my planner here. How's everybody's Monday going, though? Let me know. How's that Monday vibe treating you? And again, these are workouts you can even just bookmark too if you want to circle back to. each one's building off of one another. So we got, last week I did upper and lower body. This is the total body, and then we rotate through those workouts. So you got upper body, lower body, total body. You're gonna rotate through. All right, that's 3 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna be very, very tight and efficient on the schedule today. All right, down. I don't see it now. Okay, so you guys come. Whoop. We're gonna go with a bench press and a chin-up superset. So I'll be honest with you guys. My chin-ups are going to be an assisted chin-up, and with the press, we're going to be doing a banded variation. Just kind of chop that down. This is bench press. So we do the chin up first, since it's right here. And then I'm going to be basically showing you a standing press. So you don't even technically need an anchor for this one, which is really cool. Okay. So I'm going to bust out my black band. This one will have at the north end 60 pounds of assistance and resistance at the bottom. As it comes up, it loads off. And again, for the chin up component to this, that means palms are facing me. We're going 8 to 12. Again, notice full range of motion. Get my scalp slide down.
Yeah. There you go.
So we got 8. And again, I'm going to be a little bit more cautious because of a rotator cuff injury I'm working through. I'm not going to push that hard, but I will be still pushing from a developmental standpoint on strength. So we got assistant. Okay, so now we're going to bust out superset that with our press. I'm going to be using the green band. Now, here's the cool thing with our band. What I should also realize is I need to turn this so you can actually see the doorway. I'm going to slide that just a wee bit. There we go. You know, you guys, you come over here with me. You come over here with me. See that? What we're basically going to do is you can also just press yourself up against the wall. That's what I kind of like here to help as an anchor and as a stability source. And again, we're going for that 8 to 12. So we got 12. We're going to take a minute to rest and get it again. So we're going kind of, again, quick pace through this. 12. Okay. Go for a minute. And then, actually, this call is technically 90 seconds, but I'm going to do a minute here just because I'm a little bit shorter on time. The reason we're doing 90 seconds instead of a minute in the actual programming style is to allow a little bit more recovery so we can push on our overall strength and getting the most out of it. Make sure I'm kind of getting the right angle here. But work with what you got when you got it. You know what I'm saying? All right, let me pull up also Amazon, just to see if we got any questions over here in the chat. Audio, boom. What's up on Amazon? Thank you for the love. Thanks for the hearts. I see y'all. What's up, y'all? Okay. So we got what? That's perfect timing. We're going in for round number 2. And again, this is where, like, believe it or not, the bands were originally created for the pull-up assist. That's like one of the most like foundational applications of these. And then they've just been adapted over time for a variety of other purposes. So I'm going to just change my angle so you guys can kind of see from the front position. Again, really the safest way to anchor these, by the way, is in a squat rack, having it horizontally positioned. Because the only drawback to having it like this is if you take your foot off, it can like slide up. And if you don't have secured footing, I've actually had a buddy of mine, not with our bands, but with a different set of bands, actually have a freak incident where the band slid off, hit him in the eye, and he actually went blind in his left eye, I believe. So being mindful of that's important. We're going to just take this bar down so you guys can kind of see here as well. See if I can prop it up. Don't worry, so you can kind of see. Yeah, this is kind of tricky setup here, y'all. So we're just going to get you right here, just to do the best kind of setup and count what we got. So again, come down here. I ended up getting 90 seconds in anyway, even though I said I don't have the time for it. Apparently I do. I ended up being like 2 minutes. Okay. So again, I like to anchor it and then pull my legs back. Again, bicep engage with the chin up versus our traditional pull-up palms facing away. Go 8 to 12. Again, super excited about our press mechanic. Again, I like to anchor myself to the wall. But you can technically do this in space as well. When I say do it in space, not anchored towards anything, and I'll show you kind of difference here. Even though, again, I prefer to have my back up to the wall to anchor and press. You don't actually have to have it that way. So you can have it, again, here in space, bracing, engaging at the core, and driving it straight out. All right, so we got 12. We're going to rest a minute. We're going to go one more round. And then in between, again, I'm going to write down, and then the next superset we have is a lunge with a bent over row. I always find, especially when tight on time, we got about 30 seconds, I'm going to set up for my next superset. If time is less of a matter, you don't have to be as efficient in that fashion, but I always find it helpful to set up in that way. So we're going to do a step back reverse lunge, which I'm not actually going to anchor over here. But what I will do is I'm going to show you guys how I use bands for that. So I'm going to work in my bands. I'm also going to have a weighted chest vest for that, which I will throw on. And then for our bent over row, I get to just use the bands here, which is pretty easy. You don't have to get that stuff. So that's already our rest period. We're going to go back into round number 3. And again, we'll go back to our back angle. Even on that one, I'm going to stop at 6. He's going to call it 8 to 12. I'm going to swap out the band here. So for my last 2, I'm going to go with that green band. Yeah, and even, again, failure and fatigue is really settling in. I haven't done pull-ups in a bit, so it's really good to work this in. Pull-ups is one of those movements, push-ups, pull-ups, basic squat functions, the ones that are staples in almost any routine that I do, except for when an injury comes into play, because I've had a rotator cuff injury since July. Honestly, pull-ups has been one that I've been, pull-ups and push-ups in general, but I've been somewhat avoiding. And you can see it here in my drop-off as far as my strengths. And also even my body composition changed a little bit, gaining a little bit of excess body fat in the last 2 weeks with travel. So now, rest a minute, and we're going to get into our reverse lunge and bent over row. Log the work first. 6, reverse lunge. Short red band. And we're going to do green band. Okay, so if you don't end up going with dumbbells or any of that other equipment, again, I'm going to be working on with a weighted vest plus. So I've got my 10-pound weighted vest here to add the resistance from one angle and perspective in that vertical position. Then I'm going to add in the band on my thighs to give a different and a horizontal resistance. So again, for the reverse lunge, really focusing on, also personally, I like to engage my glutes even more on the reverse lunge. So let's bring this camera angle down so you can kind of see what I'm focusing on, what I'm talking about here. And again, once we ordered a new shed that I can use as my storage and workout space. Once that comes in, y'all, I'm confident the spacing and how I set this up will also be a bit more impactful. And by I mean impactful, friendlier for the camera angle. Right now, goal of these body doubling sessions is for you guys to be able to join live or bookmark it and go back. But I know the angles aren't the best. We will get there. Right now, it's about getting that working. For our rep range, we're doing 8 to 12. 8 to 12 on each leg. Let's change this camera here a little bit. Bam. And again, I find it helpful to just kind of come up here, step back, gauge the legs. 10. 10. Got 2 more. 11. 12. And bam, 12. So now we're going to superset that with our green banded bent over row. And again, there's a variety of ways we can set this up. I'm going to show you my personal favorite with just the bands, not even using the handles. And I'll also clip on handles. For variation, I'll also use the bar. What I personally like to do is step on each side, pull the slack out of the bands right here. So you can kind of see I have nice even tension. Get into my bent over row position. Now we just go to work. I'll give you guys the side angle. So you can kind of see again how I'm setting it up, range of motion, and the tempo. There's our 12. Again, we take a minute rest and hit it again. And again, I'll check the chat in between, guys. If you do have questions, feel free to drop them. Let's see, we got any questions? Doesn't look like we got any so far. Noise. And also what I'll be doing is probably around noon Eastern time, so like an hour and a half, I'll be popping back in to do a just work with me body doubling session, which is a fancy way of saying Misha's going to join. And also I'm just going to be set up on my computer, and you guys can just follow along and just do work with me. So it's going to be silent. I'm going to be checking my emails, going through different workflows and prepping for the day and just following up with different things. But from an accountability perspective, that's the point of these types of sessions, is literally just doing it with people helps your adherence to whatever the task is, which is something I think that's personally amazing. Okay. That being said, round number 2. Let's get it, though. So again, one of the things that I find even for my own self, especially with lunges or any kind of split squats, it's slowing down. It's tempting to rush, especially for me. And that's where I can lose balance and the actual proper engagement of the muscles we want to feel. So learning to slow down and find that position, feel the full range of motion, feel the muscles we want to engage, versus just blasting through it. Which is, in general, for those that have ADHD, a common thing, which for sure I get to deal with. Uh-oh, Misha hears something. Right, Mish? 8. And again, if you're not doing this along with me, feel free to bookmark this and come back to it. The point of these workouts is to add value for you guys and to have accountability. But even bookmark this, come back to it. All right, we got 12 and 12. Now we're going to get into our rows. Okay, so now let's get into our bent over row. I showed you guys my favorite kind of easy setup as far as the rows, just grabbing it. Now I'm going to add in my overall favorite with adding in the bar. This bar doesn't come with my band set, but I think it's a really cool integration And again, we can anchor it down the same way. I'm going to just step on that side, step on this side, pull out the slack. I can do deadlifts this way. I can do, again, rows. There's a variety of options. We're going to get into that bent over row position. Just work that nice, slow, controlled tempo. I want you guys to see from the front, again, how I'm kind of positioning the grips and handles. So notice how the resistance is anchored. Bam. All right, so that's round 2. We're going to take a minute. We got one more round. Oh, hope we're losing our. And again, this actually calls for a third superset. I might end up doing 2 rounds on the third superset combo because I'm running out of time here. I think just enough to get it done. What do you think, Hope Air? And then I think on my body doubling session, I'm actually going to be maybe even sporting a couple new outfits like that. You guys can check that out. Yes. I hear you, Hope Bar, Capybara. Hope Air's not having it, y'all. All right, we got 30 seconds. Here's the one good thing I will say. Working from home, this may be gross to you guys, but I'm going to be super transparent. Working from home, the one thing I do appreciate working out from home too is, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to shower until after my workday. I'm literally going to go right from this workout, change my outfit, and go on to my coaching calls and my business calls and all my other stuff. Then at the end of the day, I'm going to shower. So when you're working at an office, you may not have that same opportunity to not shower. Obviously, in general, shower, hygiene, all that good stuff. That's where also having sanitary wipes. I have them in my bag when I do go to jiu-jitsu or any of that. I will literally shower right after, but even in the car, wipe off. Or even at the gym, I'll wipe off, depending on how sweaty the workout is. But that's one thing I do appreciate. So I think that's going to afford me a little bit of time to get in my sets the way I want to. And maybe even be able to show you my outfit of the day for my coaching side. And then I might even model, I might even demonstrate new outfits I got from Kufandi. So I didn't even put in the carousel. You're going to have to maybe stay tuned for that, a little sneak preview. But with Valentine's Day coming up, they hooked me up with some outfits. You're going to see some cool content I'm going to be rolling out here soon. Also, the first person to comment on each platform gets an LOF gift card of $50. So wherever you guys are watching this, if you haven't seen someone comment already, comment. You get a $50 gift card to LOF. Fun fact. That's where I get to slow down. I can tell I want to accelerate here a little bit. Got 2 more. And 12. All right. So our last round of bent over row. And then we're going to get into our final and third superset. Now we can also modify this. Check this out. You don't even have to use both the bands for resistance. You could only, or both sides of the band. You can only do one. And that's what's really cool about these style of bands. There's a lot of versatility in how you set up the resistance. And honestly, that's just not enough. So we're going to go back to what I was just doing, which is anchoring it with each foot, pulling the slack out. This. Our 12. So we're going to take a minute rest. Now we got push up and hanging raise. When I say push up and hanging raise, I mean a hanging leg raise. I'm going to use my pull up bar for. And again, if you don't have a pull up bar, we can always modify things. Whether using the bands and being able to do a reverse crunch variation. For crunch variations, I will show different variations from that. But for now, we're going to kind of use the setup that I currently have. Twelve. Yes. 10 pounds. Okay, so now we're going to bring it down to the ground. So I'm going to bring you guys, come on down here with me. Come on down, come on down, come on down. We're going to get our push up on. You guys hang right there. You as well. Come on down, everybody. Here on Amazon. Let's get push up and our hanging leg raise. So first up, we have our push up, and then we're going to get into the hanging leg raise. One of the things I also like with my push-ups, if you guys have ever watched my content, I enjoy getting the bands around my wrist or forearms to just engage a little tactile cueing for the shoulder blade muscles and the muscles around there to position properly and get proper technique. When I say proper, the technique I'm looking for, as well as a little bit of engagement into the muscles and a little bit more stimuli. Fancy way of saying firing up more muscles, positioning yourself properly. So again, we're going 8 to 12. Nice, slow, controlled tempo. Pause, drive. Two more. So now we're going to do a hanging leg raise. Check it. This is where, again, I'm actually going to take the weighted vest off for this one because being a rotator cuff in my wrist strength, I get to work myself back up. But again, gripping down and then just crunching. The goal is to not generate momentum from my legs kicking back. So I'm really thinking about engaging my torso and my core to prevent that. And we're going 8 to 12. Round one down. We got 12. I actually felt surprisingly good. I was expecting my grip to kind of wear out on me a little bit faster there. But again, as I said, running tight on time. We've got literally just enough time for one more superset here. And then I'm going to jump onto my call. I'm not even going to have enough time. Do a little outfit of the day preview, the OOTD. But if you guys want to see that, I'll be jumping back in the live stream here for body doubling at noon Eastern Standard Time, probably like 12:15 once I get set up. And more than likely, depending on how the day goes tomorrow, I'll be popping in for either a body doubling session tomorrow or even a workout. My goal is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to get live streams in when I don't have the kids. Even when I do on Sundays and Monday, Tuesdays, because that's when my schedule allows. But with that being said, last round, let's get it, y'all. And it's time for me to get into my next coaching session. All right. Let's check. Yeah, we're right on time. Right on time. All right, let's get into our hang and raise. And then we're out of here. All right. This side of the mix. Over here. I love you. So we're going to play with another variation on this one. Instead of my legs going all the way back, I'm going to just have my feet touch the floor in front of me and then lift them up. It'll be a little bit less swinging and a little bit more challenge on the torso stability. But it makes it a little bit easier since I get to stabilize every time. So it has its own challenges, its own ease points. That is it, y'all. That is our total body session for the day. I got to jump into my coaching session with just the perfect amount of time. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming and hanging. Again, I'll be back in about an hour to do some body doubling and some work and productivity there. If you guys want to check that out, come back, stay tuned. If not, I'll see you on the next one. Later, y'all. Whoop.